What's up, YouTube? We got a discussion to do today. This is 8 trends or hang-ups that new yo-yo players should avoid. The first thing that new yo-yo players really should try to avoid, at least right off the bat, is falling into hype of brand new yo-yos. When you're brand new at yo-yo, it doesn't really matter what yo-yo you use. You're not going to get more out of a bimetal yo-yo or a really high-end boutique yo-yo than you would out of, say, a Recess First Base or a Replay Pro or a Yo-Yo Factory Shutter or just some kind of, I don't want to call them introductory, but just sort of your basic budget plastic or metal yo-yo. In fact, those beginner budget or intro or just inexpensive cheap plastic yo-yos or cheaper metal yo-yos really are great for new players because you don't really want to throw a $120 bimetal into the ground when you're first learning. Now, once you get a little bit better and you're not hitting your yo-yo off of stuff, it's not that big of a deal, and it's probably a great idea because you can really get some added benefits from a bimetal or from the extra smoothness of a higher end boutique yo-yo that's been tested and had a little more love and care go into it. But when you're first starting, it's actually a bad idea to get anything like that because all you're going to do is damage it. Develop your skills first on sort of introductory type yo-yos that are meant to take a beating, because once you've got your skills up and you can really benefit from the bimetal or the extra testing and everything that goes into a higher end yo-yo, it's just going to be that much better, and you don't want to really sour your opinion of, oh man, is this expensive yo-yo even worth it? Because it is, but only once your skills have improved. The second thing is, especially for a beginner, try to avoid learning or spending a lot of time working on new flashy, kind of gimmicky tricks or something like that. So think like your finger spins, maybe like horizontal stuff and things like that. If you're still having trouble getting basic binds down and hitting trapezes and getting into basic mounts and what have you, you really don't want to spend all your time working on fingerspin. Because while finger spins and horizontal play and newer kind of styles like that are pretty neat and can look impressive and aren't necessarily that hard, if you don't have the basic fundamentals down of having a strong throw, being able to land mounts consistently, being able to bind consistently, and just being an overall smooth player and getting all of the fundamental stuff down, those flashy tricks are going to be harder, and they're not really going to help you improve as a yo-yo player overall. They're just going to be a flashy thing that you can maybe show somebody, but otherwise you're kind of not going to get the fundamentals down. Once you have the fundamentals, that flashy stuff just becomes easier to learn anyway. So that's going to be the second hang-up or kind of trendy thing that new yo-yo players are going to fall into and maybe they should avoid. The third thing is, don't focus on tricks and or styles that you don't find to be fun or interesting. I don't really find horizontal play or speed combos or speed horizontal all that interesting to do. I don't really want to do it. And for the longest time, especially when I was doing sort of initial reviews, like, I felt like my tricks were okay, but I would get a lot of, oh, you can't even do horizontal, you can't even do a speed combo, and I wasn't really interested in horizontal or speed combos, and I never really commented on it because it wasn't my forte. It's not a thing that I like to do. Similarly, I'm not the biggest fan of 3A as well, so I just don't do it. Maybe I'll get into it at some point, but I just don't do it. And I think it's important to sort of just try to stick to the tricks and the styles, at least initially, while you're getting the fundamentals down, that you have fun with. If you prefer tech and techie tricks, learn that stuff. Don't say, well, I've just learned a tech trick, so I better learn a speed combo, even though I don't like speed combos. Or say, well, I've learned a bunch of speed combos, but I don't really like tech tricks, but maybe I should work on a tech trick. Now, should you try to integrate everything a little bit into your style just to see if maybe something clicks? Yeah, try new things, but if you're not having fun with it, move on to something else that would be more fun and is more in your wheelhouse. because overall, this is fun. Now, if you're going to go and try to be a competitor or whatever, yes, you need to have a broad range of stuff that you're able to do. However, if you're just yo-yoing to have fun, start a collection, do stuff like that, that stuff will come with time, but stick to the things that you find fun and interesting, because those are the things that are going to make you excited to play yo-yo. Another thing that new players tend to get hung up on, and that just a lot of people tend to get hung up on, is speed. Guitar players do this as well. You don't necessarily need to be going really fast. I know the world champion, Shion Araya, super fast yo-yo player, super good yo-yo player, and his speed play is great. However, you don't necessarily just want to go, okay, I'm going to learn this trick now, I got to go really fast. You don't want to do that. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. Think about it that way. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. Once you get your yo-yo tricks down smooth, smooth looks good. As you improve with your smoothness, you'll be able to speed up gradually. Smooth tricks look fast, and eventually, smooth tricks become fast. So you will become a faster player as you become a smoother player. So try, slow it down a little bit. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. Remember that. Another trend that you kind of want to try to avoid is gimmicky stuff. Especially as a new player, gimmicky stuff can be fun, but it's also not really going to help you develop your skills as a new player. It might be neat to mess with every now and then, and do stuff like that, but it's not really going to help you develop as a player as much as just a nice playing, stable, long spinning, durable yo-yo will. Gimmicks, what do I mean by that? Think like the Skyva, the metal Skyva, the Nine Dragons, anything that's really sort of designed around doing one specific kind of thing. The pretty much all of the Blazing Teams yo-yos were gimmicky yo-yos. Basically, anything that's sort of designed around doing one specific thing is kind of gimmicky. You can fingerspin on just about any yo-yo. You don't need a metal Skyva to learn how to fingerspin, or to fingerspin well. You can do it on a Shutter, you could do it on a Horizon, you can do it on anything G2 puts out, you could do it on a plethora of yo-yos. If there is enough room and no weird gap to fall into, it's going to be easy to fingerspin. You don't need a specific fingerspin yo-yo. And in my honest opinion, I feel like those yo-yos, the performance suffers because of the gimmick that was tried to put on. Now, if you want to get a cheap gimmicky yo-yo because you think, you know what, this fingerspin might be fun, and I've got enough yo-yos that play well, or I've got other yo-yos that play well, I want a gimmicky yo-yo, great, go for it. I'm just saying, don't put all of your focus and yo-yo dollars into gimmicks, because you're going to get bored with it, because the design around the gimmick usually kind of makes the rest of the design of the yo-yo suffer a little bit. Another thing that newer players need to not get hung up on, and this is a thing I kind of see often, is getting a sponsor and sponsorship. Sponsorship is one of those things that comes with time. I'm not really a sponsored player per se. I've got signature Zipline Strings that are in signature colors, which are in stock, by the way. You should go pick some up. Help me out. And I've got, people that send me stuff sometimes, but I'm not really a sponsored player per se. I have people or companies and things that I endorse, but I'm not necessarily a sponsored player. But what a lot of players get hung up on are sponsorships. Oh, I need to get sponsored. I need to join this yo-yo team. I need to get sponsored. Just work on you and work on having fun and work on honing your craft. If that's making content, work on that. Make better content. Try to make as good of content as you possibly can, and just keep improving. If contests are your thing, just try to do better and better every contest. Work on your tricks, work on your routines. The sponsorships will come as you get better. As you start to need sponsorships, they will come. Don't go looking for them. They will find you if you're doing all the right things. So don't get hung up on sponsorships. You will get one when it's time for you to get one, if that's the way you're going to go. So keep grinding hard. Good things will happen. The seventh thing to not get hung up on is hate and bias. If one yo-yo player does something, or if somebody joins a team or uses a yo-yo that you don't like or something like that, don't just hate on them on the internet. Don't jump on the bandwagon. It's real easy to do that, and we're pretty good in this community for not jumping on that bandwagon and not doing that kind of crap. But it still happens sometimes, and as soon as somebody gets salty about something, everybody piles on. And that's something you want to avoid. Everybody who's doing this is pretty much just doing this because they love Yo-Yo and they love to participate, and they want to participate in the Yo-Yo community. Being salty and jumping on the bandwagon of hater from the sidelines or whatever, it's not productive, and it's actually counterproductive, and it can drive people out of the community. It's happened before. I don't want to see it happen again. Be supportive of everybody, and if you've got constructive criticism, maybe, and you have a legitimate constructive criticism, you know, maybe send that in a private message, a private email or something, go that route. But as far as these companies go and these players are concerned, they're doing this because they love Yo-Yo, just like you do. So try not to draw lines in the sand of, oh, this brand I can't use because I don't have respect for them because they did this one thing. Or, oh, this brand has this player and I hate this player because he was a jerk about this one time. Or anything like that. Don't do that. It's a bad idea, and it doesn't benefit anybody. Just support everybody, support the community, support each other. Everybody will be better off for it. The 8th thing nobody needs to get hung up on, especially new players, is Yo-Yo smoothness. Now, what do I mean? So, we put a lot of stock in particularly high-end Yo-Yos being dead smooth. I always mention it during my reviews about a Yo-Yo, whether or not it's dead smooth. Does it matter whether or not a Yo-Yo is dead smooth? Not really, for the most part. I mean, you know, if there's significant vibe that can affect the performance of the Yo-Yo, that's something, and I've got Yo-Yos that do that. Usually that's due to damage, though. However, if a $30 or $40 Yo-Yo comes with a little bit of vibe or something, or there's a Yo-Yo that just because of the way the weight distribution is, and a new player throwing it, it seems to vibe on throws, but it'll smooth out once you like grind it or like just kind of touch it with your finger or something. You really need to not get hung up about vibe or Yo-Yo smoothness as much as you should just be working on playing Yo-Yo. Now, if your Yo-Yo is damaged and vibes to the point of being straight up wobble and unplayable, that's one thing, but getting hung up on a Yo-Yo with a hint of vibe, especially if you bought it used or if it's a budget Yo-Yo or something like that, is really not something you need to do. I've seen a lot of guys kind of get hung up on, well, I don't know, I just bought this new bimetal and it was only $100, which is good for a bimetal, but it's got a little bit of vibe, and I don't know, it's about 9 out of 10 or 8 out of 10, and, you know, maybe don't get so hung up about it, and that kind of goes back to the hate aspect. Message the company if it should be super dead smooth and it's in a price category or a price range where a Yo-Yo ought to be dead smooth, then maybe there's something wrong with the Yo-Yo, and most Yo-Yo companies have really good customer service and can handle that for you, but for the most part, just get over the vibe. Doesn't matter. You're going to smack it into the ground or something at some point, especially if you're a new player. Heck, I've been doing this for a long time, and I still smack Yo-Yos into the ground. And I know people who are way better Yo-Yo players with me, and their Yo-Yos are beat to crap. And they're really good, but they still bang Yo-Yos off stuff. Seriously, like world-ranked players still bang Yo-Yos off stuff. Totally happens. Saw it happen. Seen it happen. Seen it with my own 2 eyes. But yeah, guys, that's going to be it. Don't get hung up on these things. Just play Yo-Yo and have fun. That's the moral of the story. Really appreciate you guys watching this today. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. That's going to do it for me today, though, guys. Make sure you like and subscribe. Cheers to you. I'll see you next time.